If you wanted to in the future, you could set up a Livecoding TV account, but for now, I'm just streaming off of my computer.
Okay, cool.
And what I was going to do is switch back and forth between the two of us. Like first, I was going to start out by coding, and like I'll be the driver, and then you can be the navigator and give me advice or navigation.
Okay, cool. So we'll just have the code on your computer.
Yeah, to start out with, and then I think I was going to commit and save at some point, and then have you pull, and then take turns, like maybe every 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Do we have a repo we're working off of?
Yeah, I will create a new one right now. So I'll screen share so that you are not just like staring at my face, staring at something else. Okay, too many tabs open. Oh, I forgot. There's also, if you want to, well, you shouldn't join the live coding stream, but on livecoding.tv, there's a pop-out of people chatting. Okay. And so other people will probably be watching us. So they'll probably be joining as we go along. And
I get up on this livecoding.tv.
What's that?
Should I get on there?
No, I think that would be distraction because you already have me open.
Okay.
And people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but occasionally I look at my screen and there'll be people chatting and asking questions. So, for example, yeah, no one has joined yet. But every time I start a stream, Livecoding TV tweets it out, and a bunch of people follow it. So people will join us temporarily or momentarily.
Okay, cool.
People are like live coding. Oh yeah, Tywin Lannister just joined it. So a lot of people are live coding celebrities. Like there are much more famous coders who appear regularly and work on some pretty cool projects. So I watch it sometimes just to learn techniques.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a cool way to learn. That makes sense.
Yeah, because if you think about it, most of the times when you learn about a new text editor or a shell, it's all very socially like fashion driven. And I start using things, like I start using Sublime or I start using Z Shell because I saw another programmer use it and I thought they were cool. And
yeah,
so I learn a lot watching other people do stuff.
Yeah, it's true. That's like one of the most valuable things about like working at a company is like you have a more, there's a different interaction than when you're like just by yourself on the computer.
So for lack of a better name, unless you are you good at catchy names? I'm just going to call it Hitch a Ride.
Hitch a Ride? All right. Yeah, no, I'm not that good at catchy names. It takes me a while.
Yeah, me neither. We can change the name later.
I just started playing with that. You ever use the AWS like device farm? It's pretty sweet.
No, someone told me about it recently. I went to a talk at Amazon.
Yeah, it's this. I've been waiting for this. I've been like Google was talking about having some beta thing that they give some people access to use for doing this.
Huh.
So essential at some level for like Android.
There are just like so many devices, right? It's not like Apple where you test it on. I mean, right now iOS has a bunch of devices too, so.
Yeah, although the situation with Android's much worse, and the platform is less consistent, I think, as well. Even though Apple may have more devices now, the platform's a lot more consistent, I think.
Yeah, you have more control over the hardware.
Yeah.
So would it be better if I copied your robot map project or just create a new project with a Google Map activity? Probably copying your project, right? Because I want to use MapBox.
Maybe we can do Google. I don't know. We can just do Google. Honestly, I'm not that familiar with their new SDK is like super different anyway. So I'd say just use Google. Honestly, I'm a little skeptical of their new SDK because I had some issues with it. So I'm not really a big fan of it yet. I think they still need. I think it literally just barely released, so I think it's still a little. It's not that mature yet. Their older one is much more mature, I think.
Okay.
So
Well,
I think we'll roll with Google because I don't trust that platform that much yet.
let's do it then. Let me.
Google actually, when I looked into it more, actually, the first time I used Google Maps, I had some issues with it, which was like quite a while ago. But now I've used it like since I did Android. The first time I ever did Android was like 3 or so years ago, and then that Google Maps kind of pissed me off. And then I used MapBox after that, and I was like much more satisfied. And then now I kind of had the opposite experience just recently. Now that I compared them back both side to side, the new MapBox versus like now how far the Google Maps has come a lot further, and I actually was pretty happy with it when I tried it out for this project.
Man, yeah, APIs changed so much. It's like I feel like a lot of coding is learning how to use APIs. Unless you work for these companies, and then you're designing the APIs, but you have to be co-designing it with your users to know like how to improve it. Unless you don't, that's why some APIs are just like really terrible to use, because the API designers just like design them, but they never have to use them themselves. They don't realize how awkward it is to.
Totally. Yeah, it's like you got to give the same attention to like API design as you do like user interface. You just have different users, basically, different type of user, but yeah, it requires the same attention to get it to do it right and do it well.
Okay. I'm gonna call it Hitch a Ride. It's going to be in a new directory. How was your party? Did you have that tonight?
What party?
Oh, you said you had something on Tuesday night.
Oh yeah, no, I did go. Yeah, we went to like a little volunteer appreciation dinner thing. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
It was like the Nature Conservancy, and it's a cool organization. There's a lot of good people there, so yeah, it was nice.
Who volunteers for it? Is it you?
No, Diana used to. Not anymore though. She was like a hardcore volunteer for them. Like really did a lot for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good
Almost.
cause. Should I keep min STK 15?
Yeah, why not?
So Google Maps activity, right?
Yeah, that'll help us. Yeah, that's nice to do it that way. You could start with the project I made just for the Google Maps activity. That could save time because then we already have the API key and all that. That might.
Well, let's see. I don't mind.
Yeah, you want your own API because you're planning to actually do something with this, huh?
I would like to do something with this, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you should probably get your own API key then. Yeah.
Okay. But I will refer back and forth. I'll have both projects open. So if at any point you want to refer to the robot map project, actually, it'd probably be better for you to have it open too, and then you can like read on your screen and give me advice.
Yeah, I have it open. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
while it's doing that, I think the project might be too ambitious, but let's start with just one kind of user. This is pretty have to be creative with me. So, and the user just creates routes. So this kind of user will be the driver. This person has a car. And
a driver.
Yeah, the driver of a car. And the driver creates routes. And these are just the data structures for the app. So a route consists of a start point, which has lat and longitude, and then an endpoint.
Are we? Yeah, we're streaming right now, right?
Yeah, we are streaming right now. So people are just watching our design process, which is actually super useful. I was watching this French guy the other night, and he had this to-do list up, and so it was helpful to know, instead of just looking at his code, I also could see what he was trying to do or his plan for it. So
what was the form of that?
it was a text editor that was just open.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Some people like really think about the layout of their live streaming. Like they have their screen divided up into panes. It's really useful. Okay. So on one side of the screen, oh wow, why is it so small?
And people can hear us as well, yeah.
People can hear us talking about random stuff, which hopefully is entertaining.
But they can't talk to us.
No, but they can chat. Sometimes people ask questions like,
"Oh yeah, where's the chat window?"
Oh yeah. Hi, Tywin Lannister. It's not so much the next Uber, although Uber might be getting into ride sharing. I hitchhiked and ride shared across the country from Seattle to Phoenix recently, and it was really hard to use Craigslist and like literally physically hitching the whole time. So I thought it would be useful to have an app to make it less scary, because the thing that makes Airbnb possible and lets people house strangers in their home without getting murdered and robbed is because there's a reputation system, and also, you know, having a nice website and an app makes people more likely to behave well. And Livecoding TV says my video stream is lagging, probably because my computer is slow. How do I check the bit rate? It's probably under settings. Video bitrate is 2500.
You know, something interesting actually. Lyft used to be Zimride, and Zimride was basically the most popular. They did build a rideshare app essentially, and they got fairly popular. But they decided to pivot to become Lyft instead of a rideshare. They became basically like Uber.
Oh wow! So that, but did they? I think they existed only in cities. Although maybe it's not that hard to extend it to like cross country.
I mean, I used to use their service way back, and I got a ride actually from UW to Portland through them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why they stopped. Maybe it wasn't like a big enough business. So
I think that they just realized there was more money in the Lyft sort of business, probably. But BlaBlaCar, have you heard of that?
No.
That they're blew up in Europe, and it's rideshare, and you can get all over Europe. And I think they're BlaBlaCar. They just started it in the U.S., and I'm sure it'll take off pretty soon.
Oh wow! Okay. Trust community for sharing your city to city. Yeah, I mean, this may do what we want, but I try to know as little as possible about what other people are doing, because then it makes it less likely for me to work on my own stuff. So
yeah.
It's one of those projects where I personally don't care if it takes off, but well, maybe I care a little bit, but it's mostly just to learn more about Android apps and Google Maps.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea for an app. I don't even know if BlaBlaCar has an app actually. They don't even have US right now. US doesn't even come up on their country, so I don't even think they're in US yet. They're in Mexico, and they're not even in the US. What the hell?
Oh yeah, so maybe we can sell our app to them since we have a head start. We have a 30-day head start or something. All right, so this URL is to generate a key. I think I already have a key.
Oh, you already got a Google API? Are you sure? I think I would use that URL. There's something weird that you have to do that URL kind of does for you. It gives you some special.
Oh yeah, it gives you client-side Android, like this address.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's a bunch of crap on here. Say Android developer. create a new project. But I don't want to call it my project, so that's too bad.
Android app.
Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. So now I should add a package.
I don't think you can do that.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't need to.
You actually need to do that.
I already did it. Okay.
Yeah, I already did it for you. Yeah.
So I just click create.
Yeah. You might name it. It doesn't matter that much.
I might want to rename it.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. You can always change the name just so you know what key it is for what what purpose you're what, like, instead of just Android key 1, you might say hitch a ride map or something. I don't
Yeah, that's true. It's for this project though, so I think it's in case you need multiple keys within the same project.
know. Okay, I see. Okay. I can't believe it took so long for like a rideshare system. It's just like, well, why did that take so long for something to come up and actually take off?
Oh yeah, I think it's social acceptance.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, in the past, people used to be more accepting of hitchhiking.
In Europe, it's still, still popular. It's still possible. There's like a hitchhiking wiki, and there are a bunch of points in Europe, and there's like literally, there's very few points in the US. So I added a few points of good highway on ramps to hitch onto, but it's pretty sparse.
That's true.
So driver, we'll say a driver can have at most one route at a time. And do you know if it's...
So are we actually going to store routes?
Yeah, is that hard?
No. It's just the interface for inputting the route could be tricky to build.
Yeah, because you have to specify all the points along the way, right?
Yeah. I guess it's doable. It's just that'll be like probably the most involved, that part of this. Also, well, no. Here's the problem with the route. Actually, is in order to do the route, you're talking about like the line. I would almost just say you don't need the route. You just need points like what cities are you hitting, because people can look up. They can use Google Maps or whatever to actually navigate, and people on the app don't need to see the specific route that they're going to take, right? They just need to know what cities they're going.
Yeah, actually routing could be it's probably really complicated, so we may not want to get into it for now, but
but routing, you could use the Google directions API to do the routing for you, and then you just pull that into the app or something. Because knowing what polygon to draw, because like where all the streets are and all that, that's obviously Google's bread and butter, really. The Google Maps, bread and butter, like really compete with them on that.
They're super good at that. Okay, let's say that route is just a list of points, and we just display like straight line distance between them.
Is there any reason to like what exactly matters about the route? Like is someone like is a route any more than just point A to point B?
Yeah, that's it. There's just a sequence of points, and the route is a series of line segments that go from start to like point 1 to point 2 to point 3 all the way to the end.
Okay. Does the driver say because the driver may, for example, if I'm a driver, most likely what's going to happen is I'm just going to say, hey, I'm driving from Seattle to Las Vegas. Then there could be lots of stops along the way that they could make, right? just because it's on the way, but they're not necessarily going to want to input them as the driver, right? Like they would just want the app to automatically identify other people along that route that they could give rides to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so it could do, the dumb thing for it to do right now is, I mean, it's not the super dumb thing is to draw a straight line and then to see which points lie close to that line, like by perpendicular distance.
Yeah, okay. So you're trying to get into the business of having an algorithm to identify other people that might be able to hitch a ride along that trajectory.
Right, because that's actually kind of interesting. It's complicated, and if you were to, it's like humans fake it with Craigslist, right? You like, if you're in Oregon and you want to ride share, you don't only look for rides from Portland going south.
Totally.
You also look for rides going south.
That would like yeah, that'd be a huge value add if it could do that effectively. Yeah.
Yeah, and one possible thing is that people aren't, people think ride sharing and hitchhiking is like really marginal, but maybe it's marginal because people don't think it's safe. Like the market hasn't been created. Like Airbnb, before people would say like, couch surfing existed, and that was pretty marginal until Airbnb made it safe and also something that you could make money from. And not that I'm all about money, but the minute I offered gas money, I got way more rides. And before, whenever I was trying to do the social experiment hippie thing, like I'm going to trade stories for free rides. I mean, it turns out that if you're a ride share, it's implied that you're going to tell good stories anyway. Well, not necessarily. But I would be super disappointed if I was in the car with someone and they didn't tell me any stories.
Totally. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. The routing, that'll be interesting to get. Yeah, I would say like, to go further with it. Eventually, you'd probably want to almost just like integrate the Google Maps into it so that people would essentially use, they'd be like referencing the same route that they're to drive as the app is using to identify potential hitchhikers.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see how hard or easy that is.
Yeah. Well, I've integrated the Google like directions API is pretty simple to use, but although there's it takes a while to integrate everything just because, you gotta, I don't know, there's just some complexity you have to deal with, but once you get it set up, it's pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah, I wrote this reactive map app in Meteor, and the package I use packaged up some things, but I don't necessarily like their API, and so I had to dive underneath that package to the direct JavaScript interface. And I think the JavaScript interface is similar to the Android interface. At least they should be.
For what?
Just accessing Google Maps. I was trying to center the map point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the driver, I just wanted a few extra things like the car description, which could be like a string, which is the make and model, like 1996 white Honda Civic, which was my first car.
And number, probably you also want to like differentiate maybe total number of seats and then number of seats occupied, right? Because that's going to change over time.
Oh, like total number of seats in the car versus number offered. Yeah.
Number offered. Yeah.
Oh.
Although maybe all you care about is that one number is just number of seats available is probably the only thing you need. Although maybe, I don't know, it might be. I would say it's probably worth storing both, just because who knows? There could be some reasons that you want both data points.
Yeah. So call total number of seats and currently occupied number of seats, and we'll come up with better names.
And then I guess one question is, do you include the driver in those counts? Probably, but
I think by convention, the easiest to understand would be that the currently occupied number of seats has to be at most one less than the total number of seats. Like it doesn't make sense to accept a rider if you have to replace the driver. Like that should never happen.
Yeah, of course. That'd be pretty funny. With enough money, though, maybe.
Just give up your phone. Maybe we'll call it total seat count and current seat count. And then we'll say current seat count is less than or equal to total seat count minus 1.
And I would say, depending on how, if you want to make this comprehensive now or not, but I would say a really important piece would be an image of the driver, probably, like their face, because people, I don't really trust people on the internet unless I can at least see a picture of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was everyone that I trusted and had a really great ride with had this full ad that described like who they were and what like stuff they were into and pictures of them like rock climbing. I totally thought I knew them, and they wanted me to call them and let them know like who I was and what I was doing and kind of like my personality. And it made such a huge difference that I don't know why I didn't ask for it before. So yeah, it is pretty scary if you don't know anything about this person and you're riding.
Yeah. For some people. But yeah, it definitely helps. It's like if someone, I guess if the app had no way to input image, that'd be like, it's definitely a good piece to add. But yeah, it seems particularly sketchy when you have profiles online of people that are trying to get you to ride with them or whatever. And, there's the ability to post a picture, but they just don't. Then that's like a big red flag. It's like, what are they doing? They don't post their own picture. Like, that's a very, like, you got to wonder why they don't do that.
Yeah, so name of string, and then we could get fancy. We could talk about like age and race if we want to be like really controversial, but I think name
first name, probably just first name for
privacy, like really know the full name. Although maybe we can turn this into like social ride sharing later. You can look into your Facebook account and then you can get recommended ride shares with friends of friends in your social circle. Or
oh yeah, that's a big one. I think that's huge. Yeah, putting the Facebook integration, I think really like it's an instant reputation system essentially. Because you can look at a profile and you can pretty much know right away if that person's like a real person and a legit person or not, pretty much,
Yeah.
Or some sketchball. That becomes pretty obvious if you look at a Facebook profile.
I don't know about sketchball. I definitely like some profiles are like spam bots or something, like all of their.
Yeah, exactly. But also you could just tell certain people, like just like a person that doesn't have, I don't know. There's certain flags that if you like a site type person, you might not want to get a ride with. You could probably identify those people through their Facebook profile.
For sure. Let's start with Seattle. And so do you have your robot map project open?
Yep. Yeah, what are we working on now?
So what we should work on is probably like storing points.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can make locally, or do we want to do it locally?
Maybe I'll do Tucson. What do you mean locally?
Like on the device?
Yeah, because I think that's the closest to your example, and so we wouldn't have to do too much thinking and design work tonight.
Yeah, otherwise eventually you'd probably want to have some kind of a server, obviously, but right now that's kind of out of the scope.
Yeah, I know kind of how to do it in parts, and so for practice I might do it also.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, if you want to store it locally, um, I'm almost wondering though. I guess I mean, is there at some level though? I'm almost thinking you're going to end up ripping that code out if you do the local storage, because although like why like you know wouldn't you just want it from a server? Like would it even, because like storing it locally, I mean, you want, the point is to get information about what and where the other people are driving, right?
Yeah.
So storing it
So,
locally might end up kind of pointless.
well, the issue is like, you know, if your map is offline, let's see, does it make sense? So let's say your GPS always works, right? Like when you're driving on the open road, you're not in a building, and so GPS is everywhere, but
Yeah.
you may be out of 4G or cell reception, and so you don't have data. And then if your data was stored on parse or some data backend, um, you wouldn't be able to access it. But you do want things that are locally cached. So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I see. Yeah, you're saying for the cases when you might not have cell service.
yeah, no, I agree. Eventually, when you have cell service back, you want it to be synced up because that's the only way you can actually find riders.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you're close enough that you like use Bluetooth to find them, and in that case, that's like
Yeah.
you're in the same coffee shop and you like wave your phone around to see if anyone is. You're in a gas station parking lot and you want to see if anyone's offering a ride out.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just, I mean, if you want to just do the local storage, I would just pretty much copy and paste the whole, like, it's pretty standard code. It's just like a simple database table and then a wrapper on top of it, basically. So if you just like go to robot map and then just copy the save points helper, that's pretty much exactly what you need. And it's totally like segregated already as its own class. So
Cool. So while I'm waiting for this project to load, we'll start at Tucson just because that's where I am right now.
are you in Tucson right now, or are you in Phoenix?
I'm in Tucson.
Oh, so nice. Yeah, you grew up there.
You grew up here?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask for like recommendations of things to do, but if you grew up here, then maybe it's changed a lot, or the things you like to do are very different now. Like you can tell me what
I could give you some. Yeah, I can give you some. It depends what you want to do. But yeah, there have been, Tucson's changing a lot, so there's probably basically more to do than like I know of, because it's actually become a bit of a, when I grew up there, is like there just wasn't that much to do really, but now there actually is like more and more stuff to do.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because I'm worried that I might go stir crazy. Like some amount of quiet
Hiking,
hiking is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally, that's my best, I can offer you the best tips around. Like there's so many great trails that are like really close to the town. You can go on some really nice trails. Like even some of them are actually busable. Me and my dad were trying to get some data for that, for busable Tucson hikes. That's kind of like something we're planning to do at some point. Like because we know there's a few, at least, not as many as Seattle, but there definitely are some.
Oh yeah. If only you already were working on an app for public transit hiking.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what, yeah, Tucson's actually on the app, but if you click it, there's like, there's actually like no data. There's like some really like limited data. It's not really complete.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's
but yeah,
right, so
you have a car though there, right?
my sister has a car.
And you can use that car.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should go on a hike. I'll totally give you like there's some really awesome hikes. And if you've never been to that part of the country, it's a totally different experience, like hiking out there in the desert mountains and stuff. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out
What are you trying to figure out? Where the project is?
Yeah.
You can just go onto GitHub and copy it off the web page. I would say that's probably the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, we'll do that. Because I was trying to change branches, but there were untracked changes, and GitHub
Yeah,
is,
that can be a nightmare sometimes.
that's usually whenever I like wipe it out and reclone it because
Yeah.
cool. So inside of source, I should look at main, and then
And then that one, yeah.
and then
Saved points helper. That's basically what you want. Crazy.
okay. And then there's a lot of red lines, but I assume that's because the package.
Yeah, get rid of that. Yeah, there you go. Now it's fine. Oh, and one of them, there's one thing you're gonna have to replace, which is the lat long thing, which that's easy to replace. It's really just a way to store a latitude and longitude coordinate in a single object. You don't have to use that class.
Is that because it's a MapBox thing.
Yeah, but like I said, it's very replaceable. It's nothing special about that class. It was just a convenient way to pass a single object back from a method that contains both latitude and longitude. So you can just use Google's one probably.
Is it com.google.maps?
The way I do it is just delete that whole line, just delete all that, just delete all those imports, those two imports at least, and then just go down to where the red is and press hold Option, and if you're on Mac, hold Option and
Enter.
there, yeah. There now it's Google one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there are a few more. No, I think it should be fine.
Oh, now it's got something else wrong.
Yeah, what does it look like? It save points helper is public. Oh, I named it save point helper.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'll just rename the class. Refactor rename file. That looks fine. And then
Sure.
And then let's look at the other activity, which is Google Maps activity here, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bare bones, but yeah. Oh, are you looking for how to use the class?
Well, right now I'm trying to figure out what to copy and paste into my project. And it looks like this is the main activity, right?
Are you just trying to figure out how to use the save points helper, basically?
Yeah. Where it gets
yeah. Just instantiate it, and that's all you have to do. And then you just have all the just instantiate wherever you want to use it, and then you'll have all the facilities. There's nothing like using it isn't. There's just like one method, just like add new point, and then get all points pretty much.
So that's the main maps activity, right? So I can just replace it in this code here.
You could if you want. Oh yeah, but no. That so the activity that uses the saved points is actually the MapBox map activity.
Oh yeah, but you had some code here, which, I mean, it gets the map asynchronously, and then it uses these tile providers, and so I don't have any
you don't.
activity.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that. Yeah, this is the only reason to do this is that was just demonstrating using a different base layer for the map, like a OpenStreetMap base layer, tiles instead of the default Google tiles.
Oh, well, there's no reason I shouldn't use open tiles, right?
No, just use. Yeah, you should just. Well, you could just use the Google tiles. It actually, the performance is a lot better. The performance for these open tiles, for probably a variety of reasons, is the Google tiles are much more optimized for, they're sort of, so the performance will be better with the default Google tiles.
Oh, yeah, because I was like ready to jump on board with like, OpenStreetMap.
Open tile. Yeah, I think it's kind of like, it just depends what your goals are, like there's nothing wrong with using Google's tiles. Like it's their proprietary tiles, but I don't think they're just going to like take them away from you. Although you are giving up some control. So if you care about that, then you would want to probably use the MapBox API, the MapBox like SDK. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, it just depends, I guess, what your views are on that. Google basically like owns the tiles, and they could take them away from you if they want to, right? Whereas the open tiles are just open, so no one can really take them away from you.
Yeah, I think.
But I would say, yeah.
Sometimes I'm like I try to be ideologically pure, but not all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's up to you. I just was like kind of disenchanted a little bit with like the MapBox SDK because there's some like I think there's actually was a bug in it, and I was also searching around, and like there's almost no one's posted anything at this point about their latest SDK. Like there's just like no community yet. Like it's so early. Something's wrong with the package, like or you're having trouble with it. Like there's very minimal documentation. So I don't know. I just tend not to use packages like that are that are so immature. It's kind of risky. I'd rather wait till they become a little more mature and get a little bit better before I start using them depending on them.
Yeah, I can see that. Unless you're actively involved on their team and you're invested in it succeeding. Like my friend Mike is working on an API called State Bus right now, and it's still in development. So sometimes there's no community. It's basically like 3 people, and so the technology is really great, but there's not any documentation to look at. So sometimes it's really frustrating to use. But
yeah,
I'm invested in it, and it's so I'm okay with it being imperfect because I know it'll get better. But if you're just a user of Mapbox and I come up with like a bad new API, then I can see not wanting to use it.
Yeah, I'll probably want to use it. Like I'm thinking of probably using it because right now I'm using their old Mapbox SDK, which is they haven't abandoned it completely, but they're calling it legacy, so they probably won't do a whole lot of updating to it. But I like that API a lot. It worked well, and I didn't have any major issues with it.
Yeah, if there's an easy way to use the legacy, then.
Yeah, you put it in the Gradle. You just do 0.7. But I mean, I don't know if you're starting a new project. Like if I was starting a new project, I probably wouldn't want to use an API that's called legacy. But I don't know. Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, which one you want to go with.
So if I want to print out a string, how do I get the latitude and longitude parts of of this
Just
Google
get
Maps lat long.
just get latitude. Yeah. Yep. Get latitude.
Just dot latitude.
Oh, dot latitude. There isn't a method called get latitude.
No.
Okay, yeah, there isn't. Yeah, I guess it's just dot. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that seems like going against the Java like super safe use protection.
Yeah.
Getters everywhere. Okay, so sort of map view, I should call it map fragment probably, or mmap.
mmap. Yeah. Yeah, that is one thing I do that is kind of nice about the Mapbox too. You have the Google Play services. They even, it's weird, they even say that like, oh, Google, they'll be prompted to install Google Play services, which kind of, I guess that kind of means that you have to, it doesn't come with the app, which is like, unlike most packages, like the dependency is like built into the APK, but I guess Google Play services isn't like that. It actually has to be installed separately.
Yeah, that's like a library file. So instead of a .apk, it's like a .aar or something.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, some other extension where you can't actually run the app because the only point of the app is to be a library to store functions and things that other apps can call into.
Yeah.
It's like a DLL. It's like a dynamically loadable library for Android functions. Let's see, what am I missing here? There's a member that's supposed to be called saved points. Oh, it's right here. Okay, I think that's fine. So I think it's really cool how you have an add points to map method, and then whenever you're loading all the saved points and show all saved points, what you do is you just individually call add point every point that you retrieve from the database. So it's like a good example of modularity and reusing a function. So if I were to write this as a programming assignment for entry-level software engineering students, I would totally have them write, add point to map first, and then, in the hint for the assignment say, using a function you've already written.
Yeah.
Reload all the points from offline storage. But yeah, it's just
Totally. Yeah, the whole functional. Yeah, I had a guy that I worked with that kind of like, he was very, yeah, I think that's like actually a really good thing to just keep in mind all the time is like every method you write should be like boiled down to like the simplest, most cleanest sort of task, so if you can just like break apart your whole program into a bunch of really clean, simple tasks, your code will be much better and cleaner and easier to maintain. So like if that show all points like was doing adding point to map and go getting a list of all points, that's too much. That's like not clean because it's doing too many things. It should only be, you can further decompose that into more clean, separate tasks.
Yeah, and also it's like it would be duplicating code if you weren't reusing.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, you could be duplicating. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Another way to arrive at that method or that idea would be to sort of realize that if you didn't segregate out that method, you'd end up duplicating some code. Yeah, the dry principle. Yeah, I feel like that's like when it comes to software engineering, that's like if you can like really ingrain that idea, that's like that'll get you further than anything else. It's like you can just kind of keep that in mind and act on it. Your code will be pretty good.
Yeah,
easier said than done, especially when you're under pressure to like get shit done quickly.
Oh yeah, and then there's so I live in a house of college interns, and they always tell me like the latest in programmer humor, and they say copy pasta a lot, which apparently the mess that results when you copy and paste incorrectly, and they call it copy pasta.
Nice. It's weird the way are those red or is it just me?
Those are red. I figure out what's wrong. So maybe I just didn't import.
Oh, I know what's wrong. Yeah, I know it's wrong. The my location is a location that is different, actually. So location does have a get latitude and a get longitude. Location object is different than the other the other object.
Got it. So you have to
Location
create,
have to say get latitude.
create the Google Maps object, which is lat long from the Android location.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, Android location object is actually a large class. It has a lot in there. The lat long class is very small class. Location has like tons of stuff inside of it, I believe.
Let's see. So one of these has saved instance state and, oh wait, okay.
Yeah, location class is huge. It does like all kinds of stuff like compute distance and bearing, convert to different coordinate systems, do the set altitude. Wow, location has so much information inside of it.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean that might be useful if you for a hiking map for sure. I want to use location some of the time.
Yeah. When you're getting your GPS is actually giving a lot more information than just the coordinates. It's giving you altitude, accuracy, how accurate that location measurement is, or an estimation of how accurate it is.
Yeah, because I guess GPS gives you that information, right? I'm like amazed that, but of course it can. It can tell where you are. It can also triangulate to know how far above the Earth's surface you are.
Well, actually, yeah, I think it can do that, but actually, I don't think that's where that information comes from. I think that information is actually embedded inside of the Google map. So when you have a lat long, that automatically associates that lat long with an altitude based on a data set of all the topography of the Earth.
Oh, really?
I would assume that's a more efficient way of calculating that than using the GPS.
Oh, it's just like a big lookup
Because
table?
GPS, it's just like that data is embedded. Like it depends how fine grained it is. It's just because all that data is basically embedded inside of each map tile. So each map tile will have elevation data inside of it, and it's just a matter of depending on how much data, how precise you want that elevation measurement to be. It would be more or less data per tile. So they pick some kind of middle ground. I'm sure they pick some kind of, they have to make the trade-off. The call somewhere. But if you cared really about high precision accuracy on your altitude measurement, well, yeah, you can actually get that information from other data. Once you have the lat long, any lat long on this, if it's an accurate measurement on the surface of the planet, that implies a certain altitude. So, because that's a specific point on the Earth's surface, and every point on the Earth's surface has a specific altitude.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And you can store like some granularity.
Although the funny thing is some land on the Earth changes more frequently, so frequently that actually that assumption is kind of not correct, right? Like dunes, like if you're out in the dunes shift around all the time. So you could actually be, I wonder how they handle dunes and altitude on dune areas.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like, especially probably like ocean tsunamis, that altitude changes by the minute or the hour.
Yeah. Or like erosion, severe cases of like a massive amount of erosion, that would change the altitude quite a bit on an area.
Wow. I love thinking about things on a planetary scale. That's crazy. It's like most people think of programming like this virtual world where everything is like neat and orderly, but then you have to make it reflect data in the real world, and then crazy shit happens, like earthquakes and volcanoes and erosion.
Yeah, I like the idea of like cataloging the Earth. It's like as a whole, like representing the planet geospatially and storing that information. Yeah, I definitely enjoy I enjoy learning about how the techniques used for that and the different ways you can do the catalog that information. Definitely, yeah, it's fun to like too because he's so like you can understand it visually. You know, you can understand a representation of the Earth and what it means visually, which is always interesting. You know, helps me to conceptualize concepts if it's like it relates to something spatial.
Yeah, or even to like realize that you live on this like ball that's hurtling through space. Like
Yeah,
pretty weird.
that's a crazy concept.
So what about this button? Um,
Okay, what's happening? Oh,
so
you need the button code. Yeah. So okay. So open up. If you go, yeah, I'll just tell you to do that. Maybe I'll just throw it into Slack. That might be more efficient. I can grab pieces of code that you need.
well, no, you can tell me
So
where
yeah,
it is in the project, right? Is it in the layout or?
yeah, it's in the layouts. Yeah, res layouts. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, activity MapBox. The MapBox.
Oh, okay. So I just
Do
need
we
this
want
one.
a button? Do we need a button for what you're doing?
I thought I just would you just click on the map directly.
Oh yeah, so then we're gonna have to do something different. Because yeah, the button is just like, oh, take, yeah. So yeah, you probably want to like tap the map. So yeah, that's gonna require some new code. We don't need a button. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Um,
let me
Say
get
get.
rid let me
Searching
get
for
rid of
that.
let me get rid of this and just compile it to see if it runs.
Cool.
And then maybe this is a good time to commit and
Pass it over.
pass it over to you. And by the way, we're like at the 1 hour mark, and this is like amazingly fast because when I was on the road, I toyed with this idea, like as I was in the car, of like how much of an app we could get written while I was in the back seat on a road trip. But you know, the car was moving, and I was like tired, and I don't know. But I have this fantasy that like if you train yourself, you could like knock out an app in like record time, you know, like faster and faster. And then in the future, hacking or like going to hackathons is a like a performance sport where you put together your team and then you train really hard and then like you show up and on the day of like someone pitches an idea and you're like, all right, like everyone, let's implement this in like record time, and like everyone's like running around and I don't know, you're like training really hard to do this to program, but you don't know exactly the application until the day of. You just like train all these
Yeah.
possible scenarios and you train like really general skills. And
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like that idea. You should try to do that. That'd be a fun meetup.
yeah, I was
Like
gonna like
Matt.
just
Yeah.
train a bunch of impressionable undergrads and then just like go to these hackathons and like totally demolish them.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah. The point where they was like ban me, they were like, you're not allowed to come here, or you know,
Yeah.
in a separate category. Oh yeah, so what are we looking at? We're looking at touching on a map.
Yeah. I think it looks like there's an on map click listener that you can do. So that's probably what we need. Are you passing over to me, or do you want to try to get this listener bit going?
I am compiling it right now. It's really slow. Gradle's thinking about it. It's thinking.
Yeah.
So I noticed in your .git ignore, you ignore almost all the IDE files, like the .iml files and everything in .idea. Yeah, which I think is a good idea in general because mostly IDE settings or those files they change a lot depending on which windows you have open, and they get regenerated based on what Android Studio version that you have. So it's not
Exactly.
necessarily,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've actually found those to screw things up. Sometimes it really causes a headache for someone trying to like set, it can cause a conflict to happen when someone downloads the project and then they like, it just causes some weird error that they don't know, they don't know what it means. And, that they can't build the project because that's screwing something up for them. I've had that happen.
Yeah, I'm never like convinced that I found the right solution. Like Android Studio and Git tend to be opponents, and they don't work that well together. But you can kind of massage them into working. But that's true of most things, like Unity or these other really elaborate development environments that aren't meant to be versioned, and you can kind of version underneath them, but you have to get it just right, or you might like mess up the files. Anyway, it doesn't seem ideal.
Yeah.
No one has thought about what is the ideal collaborative editing environment for these really complicated environments like Android or Unity.
That's true. Yeah, Git's just kind of, yeah, it's like really old, but they really did it right. So it's going to be tough to make, to improve upon that, really, because it's just so on point, really. Simplicity is almost the beauty of it. Although it's actually can get fairly complex in certain respects. Cool, so it looks like interesting. Cool. Yeah, so there's an on-map click method on Google Maps, so that's what we need. Is it working?
I'm not convinced that wait, what do they call this thing? It's not robot map. It's not just map. What do they call it?
Look in the Gradle file, maybe.
It's not in the manifest?
Or maybe it's in the manifest, actually.
So I wanted to call it Hitch a Ride up here in the application, but that's not actually
app
name. App name. Sometimes I have to build it again. Have you ever found that? Like if you build it and run it to the emulator, it doesn't load the first time and you have to rerun it?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I just don't. I honestly never use the built-in emulator because I've just always had so much problem. I've never had a good experience with that emulator. So I just always use Genymotion or a physical device.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I should probably do
I've gotten so that emulator. And it crashes my computer sometimes because I don't know what it's like, too intense of computation or what, but sometimes it'll crash my computer.
Yeah,
that was what really did it for me. Crashing my computer, and then I was like, I'm done with this emulator.
Yeah, I wouldn't put up with something crashing my computer that much.
I have a powerful computer, so I don't know what's up with that. Is it not coming up?
No. It's weird.
Wait, what happens in that little window? Oh, it says uploading file. Is that? Oh no, it's still going. It's still installing it right now. So it's not. Yeah, it's still installing. Yeah, that's what. So if you look in the run, click run, you'll always see the status of it, how far along it is, because it has to build. Once it's done building, it still has to install it on the device. So now it's actually booting up the app now.
Oh God. I have to update Google Play services.
Yep.
Will that actually work on an emulator? No.
Hopefully.
So what? I wonder what happens if you run the Play Store inside the emulator.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Genymotion, I also had a problem. Shoot, we're gonna have a problem with that.
So
I can try it on my physical device, but show people that it's working, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to show people. It's just mostly for my own.
Yeah.
To give myself what I call like psychic satisfaction. To like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, these emulators is just such a pain.
No, it seems fixable. So we just have to figure out what version of, let's see, Play services here. It depends on 8.3.0. And then I just have to see if there is a new image for API 22.
Or maybe Google Play Services is a separate thing in here.
So usually the images listed here where it says Google APIs, Intel x86, Atom system image.
That contains Google Play Services.
Yes, I think that is what that means. The only Google APIs includes Play Services, or maybe it's the same thing, but it looks like there's no updates for API 22, but there might be for 23. No. Yeah, maybe I have my cable here, so maybe I'll just run it directly on my phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so looks like it's starting. It's trying to start that activity. There are just a ton of log messages.
Yeah, that can get annoying.
Oh wait, this is it. Okay, it's up.
Working? All right, cool.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Let me play in post. So how did you learn most of this Android stuff? Did you just pick it up on your own outside
Yep.
of?
Yeah, pretty much just reading. I learned by just doing, so I just pretty much just
Nice.
let this project thrive doing it or learning it. Just learned what I needed to do to get the thing done.
Did you develop the source code first, and then you brought in your other team members, like your friend
No,
Rob?
me and Rob. I mean, I got me and Rob pretty much started at the same together on it. Um, I had like had bare bones kind of set up, and then Rob started getting involved, and he pretty much learned. You know, he didn't even really know Java much. He like had a minor experience, and he pretty much just started learning. And you know, he kind of took the UI side, so he's like an expert on. He knows like way more than me about like the UI side. I don't actually know that much about all the details of like building a custom UI. It gets pretty crazy. He's like become a master of like building like, I mean, the UI, the way he's doing it, he's building like custom components, you know, like a custom slider widget, or you know, he's building all that stuff up from scratch, where you like a widget that you can interact with completely from scratch, you know, no like, so that stuff gets pretty crazy. Like he built a time, you see that time picker that he made? Do you see the time picker in Toto? I'm sure you noticed that, right?
The time picker?
Like when you tap a time to input a time, like a departure time.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? What he made? Like it has the sunrise and sunset like built into it.
No, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, like he like invented that, which is like he, I don't know. It's a really like that is a really involved like bit of like mastery of the UI side of Android. You know, like that's like that widget is like it's complicated. You know, that's like most people just take those off the shelf, and he built his own widget.
I just got rickrolled.
You got what?
Rickrolled.
I don't even know what
Yeah,
that means.
someone in the chat window posted a link to a YouTube video, and it was Rick Astley, "Never Gonna Give You Up." Do you know rickrolling? It's like a thing from 4chan.
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's like when someone pranks you, like they trick you into playing this one particular song or music video, which is Rick Astley, "Never Gonna Give You Up." Um, but anyway, yeah, I've seen that widget. It sounds super sophisticated. Is that because everything else was too slow, or it just didn't do exactly what you wanted?
He just always kind of thought that time picker widgets are suboptimal, and he felt he could design a better one. And I think he did. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
it's not optimal for like, basically it's like, it works. It's a full circle. So you can input the hour and the minute in a single like gesture.
Yeah, now I want to check it out. But I've pushed the code, which you should be able to pull now if you want, and then you can share your screen, and I'll.
Cool. I can share the time widget too. I'll show you that. Okay, so you just sent me the code. All right, there it is. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay.
Where is this timer widget?
Oh yeah. So if you tap like any time, like when you're inputting, you know, if you go to like a destination and you have a planned trip page, say like departing after, and then tap the time to like edit it. I'll share my screen in a sec.
I got it. It's parting today at 10:20. Oh, nice. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and that's responsive to the sunrise and sunset.
Of
Works.
I wonder where you found the color map for the sky color, because I was doing something similar recently and I had to fake it. Like I found a picture of a sunrise and I kind of picked different parts of the sunrise sky to represent different times of day, but it still wasn't exact. And it looks like he had it pegged pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, you did a good job with that.
Yeah. It's hidden too. I never would have found it because I never used this to plan a trip.
Yeah, it's true. You would. That's more of a. You're not going to figure that out unless you actually have the right. You need to input the time. All right, I'm importing the project.
Yeah.
Oh, should I just start screen sharing? Yeah. All right, it's importing.
Yeah, your screen is lagging, so I don't see Android Studio yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you see?
Blank.
Weird.
Yeah, this happened yesterday too. So if you like stop and reshare.
Oh, okay, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Again. Is it work? Is it like better now? No. Could not install Gradle distribution.
Yeah, I can see your Android screen.
Okay.
But so far, nothing's happening. It says unregistered VCS route detected. Probably it's just slow. Just loading it, it's slow. It says could not install Gradle.
Yeah, that's weird. It's not letting me import this. Dude, maybe you had a different version of Gradle. God.
Yeah, maybe in the code file.
How would I install? Would I get Gradle from this SDK manager?
Gradle is like a dependency that's installed. It's like an Android plugin, and I think there's, yeah, I kind of want to say Gradle handles downloading and installing new versions of Gradle, but that's not quite right. It's there's an Android plugin for, there's an Android Studio plugin, which it has to download and install, like maybe using Gradle itself.
Using the Android Studio is a little more helpful than just could not install. Why doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why can it not install?
Or usually, yeah, usually it tells you which package to download and update and does it for you.
Yeah. Pause search.
Did you open this the directory source src, or did you open the one directory above it, which is hitch a ride?
Well, how do you do it? I usually just open the Gradle file directly. But how opening it? Do you?
I usually go open
open
project and then open an existing project, okay, and then I choose the directory which
choose that.
So I would select source and then just click choose.
Okay. All right, maybe that'll work.
Hopefully.
This appears to be working. Oh nope! It actually told me what to do now.
Yeah, now it's build tool. So that's helpful, right? You can do that.
Yeah, much more helpful now. Yeah, who knows? This could take a while. Yeah. So same error before.
So it looks like your network connection is.
Oh, my network is fine. Not a package filter. I did not filter anything.
Did you click accept?
There is no accept. Yeah, I did click accept.
Oh. Maybe cancel and go back to the SDK manager.
What? All right, maybe this will work. It said build tools 23.
23.
Oh yeah. Build tools 23. Okay, not installed. All right, let's try that. 23.02. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that was weird.
They just gotta make me do it the hard way. Like we'll pretend like the easy way is gonna work for you, but then it doesn't work.
That's right. Click on. We'll show you this link, which you should not click on because it won't solve your problem.
Yeah. You gotta solve it the hard way.
It looks like it might, because it says install and sync.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you go to high school? Like, were you born in Tucson?
Yep. I went to Tucson High.
Wow. Yeah, it seems like
Right
the city's like really spread out.
Yeah, it's pretty spread out, but I lived really central, and I actually biked everywhere pretty much. All my friends lived in the same area pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's spread out, but it's also kind of like localized in a lot of ways. It's like the people on the east side, like yeah, there's like a huge, vast east side that's really stretches really far. But I remember we'd always hear about, oh yeah, that's place on the east side, and like people generally didn't go over there, but the east side people all like kind of had their own thing going, So most of the people I hung out with all lived within a 25-minute bike ride of my house at most.
Yeah, I think I live on the east
My
side. I'm in Oro Valley, which is like way east from downtown.
Oro Valley. That's north side. That's way north.
Oh, okay.
You're in Oro Valley. Yeah, Oro Valley is like, oh, you're right next to a really nice trail that you could practically walk to almost, probably. Like, yeah, you're like way north of the main downtown. You're pretty much in a different city. Oro Valley is like, I wouldn't even call that Tucson, really. It's like, I mean, it sort of is, but it's pretty far for sure. That's like, yeah, quite a ways up there.
Um, yeah, I think all the cities in Arizona appear to be made up of a bunch of little smaller cities.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, then you got like, if you go south, yeah, south side of Tucson, way different. There's a place called South Tucson. It's actually a different city. It's actually technically its own jurisdiction, but it's completely enclosed within the actual city of Tucson. But yeah, the south side is huge, is vast. Like, yeah, that's a whole nother like place that, yeah, often I wouldn't go, but it's not much kind of like, yeah, it's quite a difference. Like you're in Mexico down there, actually. It's pretty interesting. Like I would go down there to get good food usually, and go, but it goes way further south. Like it stretches like quite far, almost pretty close to the actual border, even with Mexico. Sort of. There's kind of continuous little cities, little like towns that kind of stretch out that way.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely haven't explored a lot at all. How's the project coming? Is Gradle still building? I know Gradle's really slow.
Still building, yeah. This time, I got Gradle installed.
Oh, nice. Can we see the console, Gradle console? That at least will show you like ant tasks scrolling by.
Yeah, I think I figured out how to do the map thing, so that's good. On map, set on map, click listener. Well, yeah, it's really simple to do that. Still going.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's fine. This plugin's pointless anyway. Doesn't really do anything for me. I don't need the plugin. Like all Fabric is just like a couple lines of code to import it into your project, and I don't understand why you need a plugin for that. But they have this really weird way of installing something where all it really is just some code that you enter into your project, but for some reason there's some plugin you install. But to me it seems completely pointless. Plugin isn't even necessary. It's basically just like a crash. It's actually a really useful package though. It reports anytime any user that's using our app and it crashes on them, it will send a report of the crash to us with like all the details and where the null, whatever null pointer or whatever exception was, and then it'll track how many users have been affected by a specific type of crash. It's pretty sweet because crashing is definitely. It's amazing how many Android apps crash. Like even Google Maps, like Google Maps crashes on me all the time.
Oh,
It's like you'd think that they would, on their own platform, they would not crash that much, but it seems like almost like Android is a little bit prone to crashing or something.
yeah, it's like a whole field. They call it Crashlytics, like crash analytics.
Yeah, that's the package that I'm using is called Crashlytics.
Oh,
Well, it turned into Fabric, which is made up of a bunch of things. They kind of engulfed Crashlytics. So Crashlytics is one aspect of Fabric.
Crashlytics is one part of Fabric.
Yeah. Yeah, Fabric is a Twitter product, I guess, and it's sort of like this whole like developer platform to like help you with development or something. And yeah, Crashlytics is kind of rolled into that whole platform that they made. What the hell? This is taking forever. All right,
Okay.
I'm going to.
I was just reading up on the Google map on Click Listener.
Come on, Gradle. Don't fail me now.
So one thing I wanted to do for the class was to have this VirtualBox image, which is Linux, and has the SDK, but not Android Studio. And so you have to run the tasks with Ant. So it doesn't show you like, it doesn't have all like the nice editor features of Android Studio, but it should definitely have all the correct package versions, and also I think building might be faster because Gradle is pretty slow. And I was thinking of ways to like have a better development experience for students. Do we just give them a box image and they run it? It's just like not as nice to edit. That's all.
Okay. So say that again. What is it? It's instead of Gradle?
Well, no, it's the command line tools of Android.
Yeah.
So
so it just used. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a VirtualBox image, and you log into it, and it already has a pre-downloaded SDK and source code, and so everything is like guaranteed to work because it's been tested. And you just hand out the same image to everyone. And you don't have to worry about different package numbers, because I think what we're noticing tonight and last night is that everyone's laptop has like a slightly different version of Android Studio and slightly different version of SDK.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really great idea. That's one of the reasons I like. Yeah, I think Android is like, especially for someone new to code, it's a little rough. Like it's kind of a rough introduction because there's so much extraneous stuff you got to deal with and worry about and set up just to get it working. So yeah, that's sweet. Like, can I test that out?
Yeah, I can do the VirtualBox image. It's command line tool only, so it's that part isn't ideal. It's like we have to teach them how to use some command line editor and then to run all the tasks from the command line. But the advantage is that it should be like fast and repeatable.
Oh, so it's a VirtualBox image just for sort of the SDK part. Like, so basically, can you still use Android Studio though?
You can probably figure out a way of mapping shared drives between the VirtualBox image and your local computer. It's not a perfect solution because in VirtualBox it's the Linux version. So I know technically like Java is supposed to be platform portable, but the tools, SDK tools, are usually like native tools, and so the tools for Linux aren't going to work on a Mac and vice versa.
It's really annoying. It's not. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try with the Gradle file. This was not working for me. All right. Try it like this. Yeah. These work. Come Why is it here? Oh, okay. There it is. All right, it is working. It probably did work. I just thought it wasn't working. All right, we're good. We're now finally in business.
Nice.
Cool. All right, so reloading now. All right. I'm going to grab the, okay, so I got my map. Show all save points. Okay, so map, mmap, set on map. Quick listener. And then this is pretty fast. Boom.
Oh yeah.
So that's all I need really. So now we'll just, do we want to, let's add a point and save it, right? Probably.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Nice. We got the same lat long object. And then save points. Save point dot save new point. Latitude. All right, that should be it. Let's try it. Damn it, I got to use my physical device.
Yeah, no worries.
I could. Oh, yeah, I'll start Gradle going now. Well, okay. Gradle. My computer, I just can't. Going very fast right now. Sounds like doing slow. I don't know why my Gradle takes so long to compile things.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm basically just retyping the same source code into my project now and see if I can get it to work. So add point to map adds it to the map, and you also need to do the same thing for the database, right? Let's say
Yeah.
And then that,
Forever. It's painful. not be taking it down. It's just dying right now. What the hell is going on? I think Hangouts is actually causing it to. Sometimes Hangouts just destroys my memory or something.
Oh yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Just wow. Yeah, it's just like fix. Oh, now it finally. Took it 4 minutes to build. Ridiculous. Now my keyboard doesn't work. That's great. Yeah. Seems to have some kind of error here. Authentication failure. The key looks like it might be wrong.
Maybe
It's working for you though.
Yeah, maybe it's linked to the machine that compiled it. That would suck in terms of collaboration. Oh, but it worked on my phone. I just clicked and added a marker.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah. Then if I close it or wake it up again, those 2 markers should still be there. Yeah, I wonder what the connection is between the API key and the machine that it compiles on.
Yeah, that's weird. It seems like that shouldn't be happening. Oh. If you got it working though, that's better than that. I wonder why that would be. It looks like maybe just some issue. You have to maybe regenerating the key or whatever would fix it.
Oh. Yeah, we can keep working on my computer then.
Yeah, it's getting close to 2 hour mark anyway. But yeah, let's just do it on your computer.
Yeah, close to quitting time. Thanks for sticking through with me. I know it's getting late. Yeah, one last thing we could do is maybe draw a line between points in a route.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be pretty simple. I can't type actually at this point though. My computer, it seems something to happen.
Seriously hosing all of your resources.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, everything, it's just, my keyboard just doesn't work all of a sudden. It's so weird. I think I might need to, yeah, literally, the keyboard doesn't work.
Wow, sorry. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Everything else is working fine. Keyboard just doesn't work.
Oh, okay. That's
bizarre.
Let's see. So a route is just right, like a quick constructor. Okay, so I'm going to create a class called driver and then another class called route. And I want route to have a list of points. Let's see, but they should be
a list of lat long. List of lat long.
That's right. Yeah. So initially it is empty. And I think with the generic type, if you leave out the template type inside the angle brackets, that it will just automatically choose the right type from the declaration. So should be able to do something like that. And then auto import these classes. And then add that point. And then maybe return an iterator over points.
Or why not just why not just return? Well, yeah, I don't know. It either way works, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's been a while since I did this. I don't know if there's like a special iterator type where you can just like get listed points.
Usually you don't need an iterator. I just do like a for, and then point colon, and then the variable, the list of points.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that the map will probably want to add points to the route, and then at some point, maybe it needs to iterate over the route to draw lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, drawing a line is really simple. Yeah, it's just, I think you pretty much just input a list of points. So, yeah, you don't necessarily need that class, but probably might be useful to have in the future.
Yeah, so the map type is Google Map. And then there a draw line feature.
Yeah, there is. There has to be. I just search Google. I usually just go to Google right away, and it'll find, sifting through the docs is easier than that. I say Google Map Android probably.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we can end the video chat for tonight. We made like a lot of good progress. Thanks so much, Adrian. You definitely sped up my development on this app a lot. Like those 2 hours probably saved me days of looking this up on my own.
Cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Glad we got some stuff done.
Yeah. I'll commit it to the repo, and yeah, if you're interested, maybe you can see the commits, and then maybe in the future, I don't know if there's any way that we can combine them. Like you could have hitchhiking, ride sharing to hiking, right? Like say you want to go on a hike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, out to Poo Poo Point, and there's no bus running, but there's someone driving out there for the hike that day, and you just like kind of stick your digital thumb out and say, I want to go hiking somewhere along I-90, and anyone else going out that way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we were thinking about that. That seems like in combining rideshare would be huge. That'd be like if they got that working well, because there's so many people, like it's just kind of like, yeah, almost just like, yeah, join somebody else hiking, because there's always empty seats in the car, and so many people go to the same trail, and they're all coming back to Seattle pretty much, So if you could just, kind of have that reputation system, there's so much opportunity to do carpooling, like especially where it's like you could do, yeah, something cool actually too would be like, people to save the person the effort of like driving around to pick people up from their house. It'd just be like, oh, take the bus to my house, and then we'll go from there, or whatever, or take the bus downtown, and I'll swoop by and get you on the way out of town, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of opportunity for that.
Cool. Well,
cool.
Thanks for joining me. Let's talk tomorrow sometime. And yeah, good night.
Cool, man. Yeah, good night, man. Yeah, let's definitely talk about the debrief on the course at some point tomorrow.
Yeah, I was really happy about it, by the way. So thanks so much for for dealing with things on the ground, and hopefully it was positive for you too.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, I think my own main issue is just the technology stuff was kind of